Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sandlot Report, presented by the Majors TV. I am your host, Dorf, joined this time by Shawn Bell, a Major Sports Network lead and Major League Baseball contributor. And today, we're about 8 weeks into the season here at the day of recording, and it's now about time that we start talking hot seats, specifically with general managers and coaches. Not going to get really into which player is about to lose their job to the next hotshot prospect, because that's under way too many different circumstances, including service time manipulation, etc. But we're gonna let's just get right into our list here. So first guy that we're going to discuss, Pirates general manager Neil Huntington. At time of recording, the Pirates are 16-22. However, a lot of that has to do with the suspension of Starling Marte for PEDs and Jung Ho Kang not being allowed a visa because he likes drinking and driving in Korea too much. So, Shawn, in your mind, is Neil Huntington justified to be in the hot seat?
I don't think so, to be honest, because you look at the starting pitching that they have has been pretty solid. Garrett Cole is finally kind of looking like himself again, but he's not getting any run support. You can say the same thing with Von Nova. It's kind of struggling, but when you're not getting any run support, you're not going to win games. So you look at an offense, your two best players, like you said, are pretty much out, and when you have two main guys in the middle of your lineup not there to hit, you have just some kind of, I wouldn't say scrubs in, but just backups kind of filling in their positions. They're not going to get the job done correctly, just like a normal starter would.
And if you think about it, from like when the Pirates were last very good just a couple years ago, Andrew McCutchen, huge step back.
Right.
Pedro Alvarez isn't there anymore. Neil Walker isn't there anymore. And and you know what, they're not getting those, they've lost Mark Melanson as well.
That's huge.
There's a lot of talent that they haven't replaced, and they still expect to compete at that level. And you know what? That's probably ownership's decision. That's not anything. It's Neil Huntington's fault. They're just too cheap. You know what? This is about what they should be. They're sitting just at 6 games below 500. I mean, just a couple, like 8 weeks into the season. So it's about what they should be. All right. Next on our list is Mike Scioscia. Will he ever? What does this man have to? I know he's a baseball genius or baseball savant, whatever you want to call him. What does this man got to do to get himself rightfully on the hot seat?
To have Mike Trout tell him he's not a good manager anymore. That's really about it.
You think it's kind of like the NBA scenario where, LeBron James is going to pick his own GM. He's going to pick his own coach.
Pretty much over there, because obviously if it wasn't, he would have been gone years ago. How bad they've been.
And at the same time, their general manager, Billy Epler's only been on the job like a year and a half.
Right, so, exactly. So,
and at the same time, Mike Scioscia doesn't control their draft process and their ability to harvest good quality pitching that can stay healthy. Cough, cough, Garrett Richards.
Yeah, God.
All right, next on the list, we're going to do the duo with the New York Mets, that being general manager Sandy Alderson and manager Terry Collins. They are 16-20 at time of recording here. They all of a sudden, starting pitching, like, oh my God, what are we going to do with all of it in spring training? And now they're having to start, guys that haven't seen the big leagues in 5 years, like Adam Wilk, who they've already cut and has already made another start for the Mets, by the way.
When I heard his name when they came up, brought him up to pitch, I didn't even know he was still in the big leagues. I haven't heard his name.
He played in Asia for a bit.
Yeah, I haven't heard his name in forever.
The reason we know him is because he was actually originally a prospect in the Tiger system, and that's we're in the Metro Detroit area. That's the only reason we have any idea who this guy is. But 16-20, they have too many outfielders, not enough infielders,
right, and
no starting pitching now. So you could put a lot of that on Sandy Alderson. Can you blame much of it on Terry Collins? Should either, with that being said, are either of these guys deserving of their hot seat?
I think Alderson is more of the hot seat than anything, because Collins is actually basically working with what he got. What he has on the team obviously is what he has to work with. And when you're not producing with, these backups, obviously it's understandable, but obviously, you have your injuries, all this other stuff. But coming down to a good manager works these younger guys out to kind of give them the experience, and hopefully somewhere down the road it can help.
At the same time, you look at Curtis Granderson's not hitting.
Right. I'm like, you look at a lot of their players, they're starting to get up there in age. And,
Cespedes has been hurt too.
Right. Granderson,
he's been Jay Bruce and Michael Conforto versus the world.
Right, exactly. So, you have Jay Bruce playing a lot of first base now too. So,
Good. Lucas threw his bum.
Yeah. He just came back from the DL, so.
All right. Next on this list, we're going to do another duo. Giants, that being general manager Bobby Evans and Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
Bruce Bochy's one of those guys that is going to get a really, really long leash with most organizations because he's got a couple rings.
Right.
He's been there. He's done that. But the Giants are 14-24, and they're not close. The games they're losing, they're not close. They're getting destroyed.
Right. It's kind of like the downfall. Obviously, a lot of these players they still have from their championship years, but to be honest, I think it's time for them to kind of move on and kind of start rebuilding a little bit. Obviously, Pablo Sandoval's been gone for a couple of years, and since they got rid of him,
they got rid of him at just the right time.
Yeah, they seriously since they got rid of him, obviously you can see the declining, but that was a huge part for them getting rid of them too. But if this is going to be kind of like a rebuilding, year, there's going to be thoughts about, Madison Bumgarner going and what they can get for him.
Yeah,
but,
they're not going to be able to get much for him because he's currently on the disabled list because he decided dirt biking during the season.
Right, yeah.
Idea.
But, obviously there's going to be teams out there. They know who he is. They see what he does.
They could still get it. Even right now, somebody could call him up on the
right. There's just so many players on that team that you could look at Buster Posey too. Even though he's kind of declined a little bit, but he's still a pretty good.
Reason to pitch to him.
Right, exactly. You have nobody surrounding him to be scared of. So that team is kind of a hot mess right now.
All right, so either of those guys on the hot seat for you?
Kind of. I don't know.
It is only 8 weeks,
right?
I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire for an answer on that one.
Right, exactly.
All right, last but not least, to wrap up this program here, the general manager combination in Kansas City, that being Ned Yost and Drayton Moore, 16-21, no offense. I believe it's the AL's worst offense. They're in Kansas City, and they're not scoring runs. Outside of Jason Vargas, coming back up from the dead out of nowhere, they're not pitching either. Or either of these, we've nobody at least in this media organization, if you want to call it that, has ever been a fan of Ned Yost because I think he's an idiot who got incredibly lucky during their World Series runs. Is it time for either of these guys to be given their pink slips?
I think more of Ned Yost, obviously. Because usually when, you see those World Series runs, kind of like what they did the past.
They won in spite of him.
Right. So, obviously the downfall from last year and this year, obviously, with Ventura passing away in the car accident last year, didn't help the cause at all or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
The offense is just absolutely horrible, and it's finally showing who they actually are. They had their good stint, but it's just, it's that time to go.
Eric Hosmer's not hitting with any power anymore. Alex Gordon's forgot how to play baseball, and at the same time, Mike Moustakas is about their only guy that really kind of concerns me. Alcides Escobar has a sub 600 OPS, and you're still trying him out there.
Salvador Perez is on his downfall. I think.
Salvador Perez is still a young player, but at the same time, he's a high strikeout, low walk guy who swings at literally everything.
Well, I think a lot of it for him comes to the amount of games he's already caught with his young career. You can see it's taking a roll on him. When you're that young, but you've caught that many games already as what he
has. He's a big guy, too.
He's not tiny. He's like 6'4", maybe, like 2 something. He's a big dude for a catcher. That's not a normal catcher. Right. Obviously, example, you could look at Joe Mauer in his early years, how big he was. Obviously he moved to first base. He couldn't catch anymore. When you're a big dude like that, it takes a roll on your knees, and it doesn't feel good.
It takes a toll on little guys' knees, too.
Yes.
All right, so, you kind of have our thoughts here. I would classify everybody that we kind of listed off as their ass getting warmer, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But not necessarily anybody in their local cities, having street riots to call for their ouster. So, but pay attention. Those might come later in the summer when people are bored with nothing else to do. All right. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Sandlot Report, presented by Majors TV. Find us right here live on YouTube at The Majors TV, or hit us up on any of our social medias at The Majors TV. So for Shawn, I'm Dorf. We'll see you guys next time.